Hello, everybody. My name is Jose Prado, Women Survival, and I wanted to talk about this whole Iran deal because it's very important. Okay, you might wonder, what does this have to do with survival? It has a lot to do with it. Okay, because now that the United States have done an airstrike on the Baghdad International Airport and has killed the General Qasem Soleimani, Iran has vowed to retaliate. They haven't said how yet, but they said they're going to. Okay, so what will Iran do next? Is this it? Is this when the war starts with Iran? About six months ago, I talked about this issue when the whole the drone was taken down by Iran, allegedly that it was in its airspace, so they went and shut it down. Okay, so we see that Iran has that capability of being able to shoot down a drone, a U.S. drone. Okay, so when that happened, when the airstrike happened and killed this general, here are some of the headlines that they're coming out right now. Iran deploys F-14 fighter jets, places ballistic missile base on high alert. This from Zero Hedge. Tehran has deployed Grumman F-14 Tomcat fighter jets to its borders hours after the U.S. killed Iran General Qasem Soleimani in an airstrike at Baghdad International Airport, according to Sputnik News. NBC News Tehran Bureau Chief Ali Arozi tweeted that Iran F-14 fighter jets maneuvering on the western skies and on alert and patrol. In other related news, Iran Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei warned in a statement that criminals responsible for the death of a top Iranian general will face severe revenge, and that retaliation could be regional war. And defense analyst Babak Tabein tweeted that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, has put all of its ballistic missile bases on high alert. IRGC affiliate news media of Iran's Islamic regime claimed that they are ready to launch missiles at several bases which host the United States Air Force airplanes in UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Jordan. Okay, we're gonna show a video that shows the range of the missiles that they have, and the name of the missiles and everything. All right, so as you can see, these missiles have enough range to where they can hit all the military bases that are within the vicinity of Iran. And that is obviously very important because our soldiers would die over there. That would be struck by those missiles. Hopefully we have air defenses that can get them out of the air, but we don't know, or at least I don't know if we do in fact have those in every military base. And of course, if they were to do that, that means it's all at war against Iran. And the question is, would other nations come in the aid of Iran, such as Russia and China? As we have seen this past week, that on January 30th, I believe, it was when Russia, China, and Iran had naval drills, and they concluded on the 30th. I think it's from the 27th to the 30th. But the point is that Iran obviously has friends with Russia and China. Okay. Now, will Russia and China come and defend them? We don't know that yet. They haven't come out and say, yeah, we're behind them 100%. But let's say that they did. Now we're talking about going against two other superpowers in the world, all along with Iran. Okay. Now I'm gonna show a picture that has the ranges. Oh no, excuse me. I'm going to show a picture that has all the bases that are all around Iran, and you can see how problematic this could be. Okay. Now here comes another headline, and this is from TASS.com. Iran announces right to self-defense in letter to the UN. The Islamic Republic of Iran reserves all the rights under international law to keep necessary measures in this regard, in particular in exercising its inherent rights to self-defense, the diplomat said. This extremely provocative move was aimed to escalate tensions in the region. Tar Rabachi said, "The United States shall bear full responsibility for all consequences," he added. Okay? And that is, I don't think that might be an empty threat. It could very well be something very, very important or very serious. Reason being is because they do have sleeper cells here in the United States. And that's something that we have to worry about. Because as I have discussed in the video that I made 6 months ago with the whole drone ordeal, is that the FBI has admitted that yes, they do have sleeper cells in the United States. In all 50 states, even in the state that I live in, they do have sleeper cells, okay? So what could be one of the things that they could do? One of the things that they could do is that they could shoot up a mall, do suicide bombings like they do over there in the Middle East already. They can set off a biological weapon in a very busy street or in a very busy city. Okay, they could go to any kind of public event and set something like that off. Okay, so the concerns are very real, and this is where the preparedness comes into play, because you must be ready for something like this. Okay, it's very unlikely that just from a wave of attacks from Iran could stop the whole entire United States. Is very unlikely unless they do one of the things that we're going to talk about here in a minute. All right, this is from Summit.News. Iran has Hezbollah sleeper cells in the United States ready to strike. It's our assessment that Hezbollah is determined to give itself a potential homeland option as a critical component of its territory playbook. As a critical component of its terrorism playbook, said National Counterterrorism Center Director Nicholas Rasmussen. We, in the intelligence community, do in fact see continued activity on behalf of Hezbollah here inside the homeland, he added. Hezbollah has never directly attacked the U.S. homeland, but Garoni worked for the Hezbollah-controlled Islamic Jihad organization, was confirmed to have been conducting surveillance of FBI and U.S. Secret Service offices, as well as the U.S. Army Armory and the John F. Kennedy International Airport, all in New York City. And obviously, they have set their sight on New York, but that could not be the only city. It could also be Atlanta. It could also be Los Angeles. It could also be Seattle, D.C., you name it. Chicago, Texas, wherever there's a major city, they could have their sleeper cells working there, okay? So a war with Iran wouldn't just be, let's just go over there, kick some butt, and then come home. We know that's not how it goes down, because that's not how it went down in Syria. Russia got involved in that. And from there, we were able to topple the government from there. But the point is that if Iran does get the backing from Russia and China, then we do have something to worry about, because now we'll be going against them also. Okay? And not only that, but this is the thing that I wanted to mention a minute ago, is that Iran does have an EMP weapon. Okay? This is from Daily Mail, .co.uk. U.S. military warns electromagnetic pulse weapon in Iran, in Russia, and in North Korea could melt down nuclear power plants, shut down the electricity grid for 18 months, and wipe out millions of Americans. All right, just from that headline alone should tell you that if Iran uses the EMP, I would hope that at least it would be their last resort. It wouldn't be their first attack, because that could just wipe out millions of Americans, as the headline states. Okay, and not only that, but Russia has that weapon, North Korea has a weapon, and we also have that weapon. Okay, yeah, we can use it against them too, but the United States is very, very energy dependent country. There's a lot of people that are on dialysis machines that would just perish without them. You know, all sorts of other kind of machines. That means that the hospitals will be out. It would just be total mayhem here in the United States. All right, the article goes on to say, an Air Force report reveals the U.S. is utterly unprepared for an electromagnetic pulse weapon attack. Iran, North Korea, Russia, and the U.S. all have developed EMP weapons that fire invisible microwaves and electromagnetic pulses that shut down electricity. The report warns that an attack could shut down the electricity grid for 18 months, would melt down nuclear power plants, and displace 4.1 million people. It would also kill 90% of the East Coast within a year. No electricity would affect transportation, food distribution, and healthcare. Okay, now think about that. No electricity whatsoever where you live for at least 18 months. Okay, and that's best case scenario, because you also got to think, if they do come out with a plan to where they're gonna restore power, it's gonna be the main cities first. Okay, we have seen this in Puerto Rico. We have seen this in other places that have been devastated with natural disasters where the whole grid gets taken away, and it's mainly the main cities first and then everyone else. Okay, now having that in mind, 18 months. One of the things that people don't know is that most of our grid stuff comes from China. Okay, let's say we're at war with China because of Iran, and because, you know, they're backing Iran and Russia. If we're at war with China, they ain't gonna give us nothing that we need for our electrical needs. Okay, that's just plain and simple. And not to mention that there would be martial law in the cities, there would be panic. So that's why I say at least 18 months. Okay, it could be more. What if it's 24 months, 36 months without electricity? Are you able to live without electricity for that long? Now you gotta think, winters are getting worse, okay, as we have seen in the middle of the country. The heat is getting worse also, as we have seen in the middle of the country as well. In California, you know, places like that of drought. There's people that they can't live without the AC running 24/7, okay, and there's people that depend on their heaters in the winter, because, you know, it gets very, very cold, and of course you would. But if people do not have gas heaters, okay, and that just reminded me, on the first podcast that we did was about the California shutting down the grid because of the electric fires. There was this lady that did have a gas heater, but that thing wouldn't work if there was no power. So even if you do have one, you have to make sure that it's something that you can use even if there's no power for it. And, you know, it was because of safety regulations or whatever, that heater doesn't work, that gas heater doesn't work because there's no electricity. It automatically shuts off. So that tells you so much. It would kill 90% of the East Coast within a year. Now, there's a lot of people in the East Coast. There's California, there's Seattle, there's so many cities. And 90% of that, I mean, they're saying they would displace 4.1 million people. But to be honest, it would probably be a whole lot more than that, because the East Coast is not the only coast with a lot of population. You got to think all of Florida and up all the way to New York. That's a lot of people there. Okay, that's what I'm saying. There would be mayhem. People would be looting everything that they could, because Their supplies are not coming anymore, okay? 18-wheelers will not run if there's an electromagnetic pulse, because their systems will be fried as well. Along with the grid, every car in America would be fried, okay? If you are lucky enough to have one running, then you should guard it with your life. But the point is that there would be no food at the grocery stores. There would be no water coming from your faucet, okay? There would be no heat, no cooling, depending on the time of year that would happen, okay? Healthcare would be devastated. There would be no more hospitals, okay? And even if there were, the trucks don't run to deliver the medicines. So it's a chain of effects that will make this country go down on its knees and beg, because we will be out of everything, okay? Now, that is the EMP is not the only thing that can take out the grid. Also a cyber attack. And even though it would be more of a temporary thing, and it's of course assuming that the generators don't blow up, but either way, the point is that that's not the only way that they can take down the grid. Even though it would be a more it would be something that could be fixed fairly quickly, depending on who's working on the combating the cyber attack. But anyways, I wanted to bring this to your attention because a war with Iran is serious. It's not a joke, okay? You have to have your food ready, your water ready, just in case there is an EMP. You got to have your guns ready in case that they do decide to attack whatever, okay? If they charge your location, you have to be able to defend yourself. But also, you have to be more vigilant. You have to be able to look when you go places and not be done on your phone, okay? Pay attention to your surroundings. If you see that there's somebody that may do harm, be ready for it. Like we saw this past week in that church shooting in Texas, okay? The good guy that had the gun, he was able to stop this massacre within 6 seconds, okay? If no one in that church was carrying, all those people would have been dead, or at least most of them, okay? With a manhunt on their way. So the point is that you have to be ready. You have to pay attention, okay? Get your face out of your phone and look around you, okay? If things get too dangerous to go anywhere, just don't go anywhere, okay? Just for the time being. Hopefully things will not be so tense, and then life can go back to normal. If that's the case, then that's awesome. But if not, you must be ready, okay? So remember, always be ready for anything that happens, okay? That is our motto here, always ready. So with that being said, I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. If you go anywhere, pay attention, keep paying attention to the news, okay? So you know what's going on around you. And again, my name is Jose Prado. You'll have a good day.